This is another Sunday, another backstory. So yeah, like I've said before, I honestly don't know how long I'm going to do this series, but I'm enjoying it. I hope y'all are enjoying it. And I am planning on getting one more him backstory book, at least. I have like three others on my wish list, but in the near future, I'm planning on getting one more him backstory book. I have three already, including what I've been using. Going to keep looking through the other two, figuring out how I can use those. They're set up differently than what I'm used to. Um, that's why I haven't pulled that out yet, but I'm still planning on using them. So today's backstory, as you can see from the title, is Blessed Assurance. And, I get all my information from Then Sings My Soul by Robert J. Morgan, published by Thomas Nelson. And as we all know, Blessed Assurance was written by Fanny Crosby. I shouldn't say we all know, but it's a well-known fact that she was the one who wrote it. If you remember anything about Fanny Crosby's life, she went blind before she was a year old by a quack doctor who put a pretty much boiling hot poultice over her eyes for whatever reason. I can't remember at the moment, but that's what made her go blind. But despite being blind her whole life, she was happy. A happy child, a happy adult. But yeah, this hymn was written in 1873 by Fanny Crosby, and the music was written by Phoebe P. Knapp, Knapp. But they were really good friends, and I'm going to give you a hint at next week's him backstory. Yes, I already have it picked out because I am on the ball today. Kind of. We all know I'm not really like this. But another one of Fanny's friends, Frances Ridley Havergal, which wrote next week's hymn. But I won't tell you what it is until next week. That means you gotta come back. Frances Havergal and Fanny Crosby never really met, but they became great pen pals. They were probably the two most famous women hymn writers of their day and age. Frances Havergal from England and Fanny Crosby from America. And Havergal once wrote about Fanny Crosby a good poem. Sweet blind singer over the sea, tuneful and jubilant, how can it be that the songs of gladness which float so far, as if they fell from the evening star, are the notes of one who may never see visible music of flower and tree? Oh, her heart can see, and its sight is strong and swift and free. So I thought that was a really cute poem that described Fanny Crosby, especially with all the trials of being blind that she had to face. When Fanny Crosby was visiting her friend Phoebe Knapp, who wrote the music to Blessed Assurance, that's when the two got together and wrote this famous hymn. It was, like I said, in 1873. Fanny was visiting Phoebe in Phoebe's family mansion. Now, Fanny was from a pretty much dingy apartment in New York City, in Manhattan. Yeah, she worked in rescue missions, just trying to bring joy and happiness and encouragement to those who went to the mission. You see, Phoebe lived in her family's mansion, entertained lavishly, had rooms to spare, but they ended up being really great friends. While Fanny was visiting at the Knapp mansion. Um, Phoebe said that she wanted Fanny to listen to a song or a tune that she had wrote. They went to the music room, and as Phoebe sat at the piano and played this new tune, while Fanny was listening intently, Fanny had an epiphany of the words, which she pretty much, that's how she pretty much wrote all of her hymns. She would listen to the tune, be like, oh, that tune says such and such. And this was the case with Blessed Assurance. After Phoebe was done playing, Fanny immediately clapped her hands and said, why, that says Blessed Assurance. And she quickly wrote the words to this hymn, the lyrics to this hymn, and that's when it was born. Years later, D.L. Moody, who was preaching in New York, which was kind of near where Fanny lived, at the 23rd Street Dutch Reformed Church. And, Ira Sankey and D.L. Moody traveled together a lot. And their I guess, meetings, like evangelistic meetings, popularized Fanny Crosby's hymns. But even if she were to be in the congregation, she didn't want any recognition about being the writer of the hymns that they sang. Even though, due to Moody's and Ira Sankey's evangelist meetings, she was a household name already, but she didn't want her face recognized, which is very humble of her. But on this day at the Dutch Reformed Church, she couldn't find anywhere to sit when she went into the congregation. D.L. Moody's son, Will, saw her and he offered to find her a seat. But then, to her confusion and bewilderment, he led her onto the platform just as the congregation was singing Blessed Assurance. The older Mr. Moody jumped to his feet and he stopped the music and exclaimed, "Praise the Lord, here comes the authoress." And up until then, Fanny had had no recognition to her work. So she was blushing, but she humbly took her seat and thanked God for the blessings of being there, and just that she was able to be part of a great meeting. So that's the story of Blessed Assurance, which I kind of drew this hymn from our choir special, which has a couple of verses of Blessed Assurance in it, just to a different time signature. So we'll see if I can play it in the original time signature, which is not one that I'm comfortable with very well. 9/8, which, if you don't know anything about music, that's 9 beats per little section per measure of music, and the 8th note gets 1 beat. But I'm not here to teach theory. I'm just here to teach you the backstory of the hymns and to try to play it for you to the best of my ability. All right, let's see if I can do it. I do apologize for losing my place in that one spot. I don't know what happened. But yeah, I hope you learned something. Hope you enjoyed this video. Just comment below. Let me know what you want to hear. I still haven't forgotten one request. I just haven't had much time to practice that. It's the Rejoice in the Lord, the original Rejoice in the Lord arrangement by Ron Hamilton. From the Patch the Pirate Adventure Mr. Slippy River Race. I'm still working on that one. I have not forgotten. But if you have any other suggestions, any other requests, just comment down below. Let me know them. And I told you that I gave you a sneak peek, or not really a sneak peek, but a spoiler to our author of next week's hymn, Francis R. Havergal. So comment below and try to guess that hymn for next week. And I will give you a shout out if you guess it right in next week's video. But yeah, just go ahead and like this video if you learned something. Go ahead and subscribe and hit the bell icon so you never miss when I go live for this or whenever I just upload videos. Alright, I will see you next time, probably in the next 3-4 days with an update to my Practice Makes Progress series for my next offertory. And I will see y'all soon. Alright, bye. Have a good Sunday.